Okay, for our paper cutout, using some of our simplest found templates, I have a couple samples here. This is a Dalmatian dog using just newspaper and some white paper and some black paper. This is a cat, also using some colored newspaper. It looks like it's all brown, something that's more of a brown color, and I also brown paper and black paper. Here's another Dalmatian using newsprint, some black paper for ears, a mouth that's drawn in there, some really cute eyes. And here's a cat that has actually a couple different colors of paper. It looks like there was either some colored newspaper or some colored construction paper there. So I'm going to do the simplest one first here. I'm going to do this one, I believe, which is the Dalmatian. And I'm going to let it sit right there. So this is the Beecher, and I'm going to just go ahead and cut it apart into some usable shapes here, some rough squares. I'm going to use mostly the ones that are just type, and I'm going to cut the ads off of them. Alright, so I've got these. Now I can see which one would maybe make the best head, and it looks like that one is. I could actually use one of my templates if I do want to use something to draw with. I've got my crayons box here. I can just make a tracing over that and cut out something that's kind of like the shape of a head, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's almost a rectangle, using my box as a template. And then I'm going to use some black paper. I think I'll go ahead and do a triangle, and we've got the type upside down. This is kind of a triangle. I think actually I can maybe use my heart as a template here. And that could give me kind of the shape. I'm going to leave it a little bit and now I want some black paper, and I have some from my other projects, and I could probably use this same template again to start the ear. You don't have to use a template if you don't want to, but some kids need to have something to start with, and I'm going to just go ahead and cut close to the edges of that template. For my ears. Very good. I'm going to do some free-form shapes for the dots because a Dalmatian's dots are not all the same. So remember how I've showed you how to use scissors. The scissors are always pointing up and your fingers are pointing up on this side, and you can use your hand to move. So I'm just going to cut and see how I just moved that paper around. I got a nice dot there. And my scissors did not move. It was my hand that moved the paper. And I'm just going to keep cutting until I've used all of this paper up. I don't like that I have that orange line on there, so I'm going to do another one. I'm going to use this as a template and just cut another body out because I don't want to see that orange line. See, you can use your papers as templates. If you don't like the first one, you can do the second one. Okay, so here we have, and of course we always can use this newsprint for part of our dots too, and maybe color in some of those, some of the textures on there. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit more of the newsprint because I like that texture on there because that looks kind of like hair. And I'm going to go ahead and add some pencil or some black crayon to that. I need a little bit more. I need to do my nose and my eyes. I need white to block out parts of the eyes, so I'm going to go ahead and find some white on this paper. I'm just going to cut it like an eye shape. And again, see how I'm just moving my, I'll use that for the nose. And then I need, the eyes are not round in this animal. The eyes are more vertical shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. Cut it down a little bit more. Again, this is the Beecher, and they're passed out around the city. Their office is on Franklin Street, and they have a lot of back issues right in their front door. So if you're out and about and you wanted to pick up some Beechers, 2 or 3 to use for your art project, they're also great reading. Okay, so there we have my dog. I'm going to go ahead and turn his head sideways like she did. I might cut this down a little bit so that it has a little bit more of a shape to it, like an ear, flopping ear. All right, I think I might need another couple more dots. Let's see. Now we can be creative and go another step further. We could add a tail. Maybe this is a certain kind of dachshund that has a big tail, not a little tail. Can't see much of that. I'm going to give him mostly a black tail. Yeah, I need a new piece of paper here. I'm going to do one of my favorite curves, a spiral. And that tail is coming from behind. So there we have it. Now, of course, you're going to need some glue, and I have Elmer's glue that I keep in a little cup like this. For this kind of project, you could also use a glue stick if you have one. If you don't have any glue, then we can make our own wheat paste. I'm going to go ahead and I made some wheat paste, so I have it here. And I like the wheat paste. This is a tablespoon of flour and a little bit more than a tablespoon of water mixed to make it the consistency of Elmer's glue. I'm going to have to move that up. So if you don't have glue and you do have some flour, you can always make yourself some glue called wheat paste out of flour and water. I turned it over. The bottom of the heart now is the top of the ear. And I'm going to just finish gluing this down and show you the final product. So there is my Dalmatian, also, or spotted poodle, using newspaper and some black construction paper and wheat paste to glue it down. Homemade wheat paste to glue down the actual paper. And I got a little bit of wheat paste on here, but I think that looks kind of cool. It looks almost like a his hair.